Hi, and welcome back to a Sweeps Life here at the Chimney Bear office / home office. Struggling today with my new spectacles that are driving me bananas. Good thing I'm not the one working on the roof, so I'd probably fall the fuck off. So anyway, today we're doing an episode about the chimney crown and the different types of crown coverings made of masonry, and the different options that you have when you have crown issues. And basically a lot of people call this the wrong thing. They'll call this the cap because that's what masons say for some weird unknown reason.
Well, in the code book, they actually call it cap. If you look at the codes. And
well, isn't it the cap to their work?
Or cap of the chimney.
Funny joke.
But the problem is, there's always a confusion between the rain cap.
So it's not the cap to their work, because that's where their work finishes. Like, there's all the bricks, and then they cap it, and it's the top, and it's done. Well, no, because then there's still a little flutile that says, hello, I'm out here.
Yeah.
So it's not really the cap.
And then you have a rain cap on top of the flutile.
It's to hide all the work they didn't do along the way.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the, like, icing on the top of the chimney.
As long as it looks good on the outside, right?
Yes, that's all we see is on the outside.
Well, that's everything, like.
But they tend to be the hat, really, for your chimney, and their whole purpose is to divert water away from your chimney, right? Because we want to protect the mortar in between the bricks.
Yeah, and that's why you need a proper crown with a drip edge.
Not a fancy smancy edge that, like, the bricks are built at 90,000 degree angles and they don't do anything but let the water run down
You're
the
talking
chimney.
about when they corbel out the bricks
and
put them soldiers, they stand them up and they just put a crown wash on it. And
it's useless as a chimney pot, yep.
It's pretty useless. I mean, it looks fancy until you get on top and
Who
realize
sees it?
it's
Who does it look fancy for? The chimney sweep that's on the top of who is it looking fancy for?
Roofers?
Google satellite images.
Like, come on.
No, you can't even see that there.
Stop paying for shit you don't need.
It looks good for drone videos when you're listing the house for sale.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean like those like $1 million homes where the drone flies in and then it like hovers sweetly over the top so that you can see how majestic the house is? That one?
That way the rich people can send pictures of the chimney to the other rich people and brag about it. Look at my chimney and my corbel
Those people
brick.
don't climb onto roofs.
Well, anyway,
exactly,
so
right.
Not everyone wants a cookie cutter, so I guess that's what it's there for. There's a different taste for everyone. But anyway, so
They don't even know it's happening. So
Listen, you can make chimney
That Mason was just drunk. The one who invented that, he was just like, boys, and that's how they came about. He was drunk.
Probably. That's exactly
like,
what
this is how we lay brick today. But anyway.
Yeah.
But you can still make the chimney look very pretty and be effective with diverting water away.
Simple is beautiful.
It could be done.
Well, the whole point of this episode is to explain the purpose behind the chimney crown and why it is so imperative that you keep it watertight.
I mean, chimney crown is, just think of it as a roof for your chimney, right? The roof goes out a little further with the eaves, and it doesn't drip down because you usually install the gutters in it, but for the chimney purposes, the water drips down on the roof from the ground. It doesn't water fall down the bricks and doesn't wash away any of the mortar joints or anything like that.
So the roof eve, or whatever this is called,
Eaves.
the Christmas Eve, the New Year's Eve, whatever thing, that's the quote-unquote drip edge for
the drip edge.
Sort of,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So the roof eaves are the portion of the roof that goes kind of past
I'm trying to dumb this down as much as possible because I know there's a lot of confusion with these things, and since no one knows what it's called, and
It's the thing in the stuff that diverts the water away from your chimney.
Yes.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
what that is.
Okay,
And,
so a chimney roof, I like it.
yeah, chimney diversion tactics.
Chimney diversion tactics, yes.
Yeah. So what happens is if you do not have a drip edge on your chimney, then again, and we don't know why that this happens either. They didn't pour properly.
Yeah, there was no drip edge on it because they don't want to build a crown. They don't want to build a mold and pour it in, and they would have to come back, remove the mold. It's a lot of
It's
work.
a pain in the ass, right? And it costs more.
It costs more money, exactly. It's just easier to do. It's way easier to do crown wash, and yes, it will work, but not as good as crown with the drip edge. But here's another thing: is for those crown, when people do build those crowns, one thing they miss, which is in the code books, is the air gap between the flue tile or flue tiles, if there's more than one, and the concrete that they pour in. They need that space for expansion. And because they don't do that, all those crowns out there, 99% of those crowns, you get up there's a crack or two, usually two, one on each side. Because the flue tile, even if they don't use the fireplace, flue tile still warms up from the air, from the house, warm air coming up through the flue, warming up the flue tile, expands, and something has to give, right? And usually that's when you see the concrete crack.
That's how they crack.
That's how it starts,
or
right?
Settling. How settling a crack.
That happens as well, yeah. Or tree hitting.
But those are relatively cheap to fix. So if you get somebody up on your roof again once a year or once every 2 years, you're going to catch that. You're going to be able to do like a $20 to $30 crack repair on that, and it's going to put that flexible material in there, which is going to save your ass going forward for the next maybe 10 years until maybe
10 years,
the material starts to decay. But if not, then you get into resurfacing and rebuilding. And the price difference is huge, especially rebuilding. You're going from $20 to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 job, and that's pretty big. An overspend of maybe like 10 years, right? So save yourself a little bit of money and do a little bit of a preventive maintenance and fix the crack and snip it before it gets any worse.
So the crown crack repair is just filled in and sealed. So what's the crown safe?
Well, Crown Safe it's a brand that we use to resurface the crowns or crown washes, if that's the case. We use the material for all kinds of other stuff as well. It's elastic material. It's not water based, so you can apply it at any kind of weather. If it's below freezing.
So is a crack filled with Crown Safe or
no? Because the Crown Safe it's like self-leveling type of material. So if you're gonna go over it and you walk away, it will drip in and potentially crack again. So you want to fill the crack with something and then go over with the resurfacing material. But you want to go over the whole crown because you're protecting the material, the whole crown from deteriorating over time.
And that's when you get that nice freshly wet looking
it does, yeah.
crown.
Yeah, it looks like if you do
Shiny
like paper
sauce.
seal, and when you do paper seal, you can pick the sealer that makes it a wet look permanently. That's kind of it has a similar effect where it looks shiny, darker, right? Because it's a wet look. Most people don't really care about
so
that.
it does stay that shiny because I've seen pictures of it when it's freshly applied.
Yeah.
But if we come back there 6 months later.
All right, Siri.
She's
down.
gonna check it for us, make sure.
Yeah,
that's
Siri, we're getting a fact check.
Fact check.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing: it will stay wet looking, but the shine will go away because when we come back the following years to do an annual inspection for the chimney, I've looked at the pictures. It's not as shiny as it originally when we applied it, but it is.
What's the warranty on that? What does the company?
I think it's 10 years.
10 years.
10 years, I believe.
So 10 years of waterproof, basically.
That's a good deal.
For a small amount of money the customer will pay, it is a really good deal. Yeah. Again, it will prevent that $3,000-$4,000 rebuild. If you don't do that.
Because if you don't put anything on it, and 10 years later you come back,
then you're into rebuild territory.
Because it's like a snowball effect,
now,
right?
there's two though. You said there's a crown. There's an actual crown, which can be made out of limestone, poured in, or sometimes for the skinny appliance chimneys can be prefabricated, right? And then there's the wash. And the wash is different because whenever I see a wash in the pictures, I'm like, this crown's all fucked up, and you're like, that's just the wash.
Yeah. Well, crown/cap has to have a drip edge.
We're taking the cap away. That cap is gone. Chimney
Some people
do
gonna be like, "What is the
cap.
crown?"
Don't do it anymore. It's a crown. So we're all
it confuses
on the
the
same
customer.
page.
It's easier if you just call it chimney crown.
Well, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and we think when they call, they're talking about a rain cap, and then they're not talking about a rain cap, and we're sending them out there to replace the rain cap, and the technicians get up on the roof and they're with their harnesses and say,
"Your chimney's falling
oh,
apart."
look, No, you have a rain cap. It's fine. There's a rain cap here. And we get up there and their crown is all busted up.
Yeah.
So let's all get on the same page with terminology, friends.
Yeah, I think simplifying it and making it easier.
It's dying in the basement.
Water softener.
So the water softener is dying.
It's not dying.
What is it doing? There's the crazy...
It's softening the water.
I was going to say a bad word. I'm not going to say that word.
We haven't said any on this podcast.
There's a monster in the basement, and it's coming to kill... I think it's a dragon. Do we have Daenerys Targaryen's dragons in the basement?
I hope so. That'd be awesome. I think we'd let him out of the basement, though. I wouldn't keep him in the basement.
Perhaps they could just melt down chimneys instead of us having to tear them down.
No, because then...
Ooh, we could make chimneys out of glass. Dragonfire glass.
No, we just use them to light fires.
Think of how pretty that would be.
They're just fire lighters.
Okay, you digress.
Get your logs on fire. Yeah, we'll see.
Fire.
Maybe this will make it, and you guys will be lucky if we'll see in editing 3.0 how much of this makes it.
You have to leave the dragons in. The dragons are the most important part. They're the whole reason of living.
It's probably all staying
There's a fucking dragon in the basement.
If
Next.
If you're listening, comment.
Why did we never hear the dragon in the basement before now?
I don't know.
Someone's been
It was a
feeding
baby
it,
dragon.
obviously.
Now it grew up. Now it had louder and bigger.
That was a sub pump.
I know the sub pump noise, but why are we only
Maybe they're making babies over there.
Why
I don't
are
know.
they only having the dragon in the basement
softener.
now? Like this is why you don't record at home, because you have dragons in the basement trying to pump sub pumps.
Okay, we'll record in the attic next time. It's quieter.
Yeah.
Until the attic fan kicks on. It's automatic over there.
Fuck. Okay, anyway, since we're not HVAC fucking people, let's continue onto the crown situation.
Plumbing, dragon keepers.
So basically, what is the difference, in your opinion, Andre, between a crown and a crown wash?
Crown has a drip edge, so it's wider than a brick or stone.
So why would a mason choose to put a crown wash on a chimney instead of a crown? Because it sounds to me like a crown wash would just allow water to run down the chimney. So if you're going to have a crown wash, you probably want your chimney waterproofed on a pretty, every 5-year basis. Because if not, you're just going to, no matter how many times you resurface that crown, you're just going to have to keep having water running on down.
Well, the water's going to run down the bricks or stone, and eventually it's going to wash out the mortar.
Yeah, so you're going to have a tuck pointing issue like every 10 years.
So is this just guaranteed work?
Yeah, but they're not the ones who are coming back, right?
That's the whole thing. But I think if you maybe did like a pairing of crown wash rebuild and then a waterproofing, then at least, or because you can resurface the wash, right?
Of course, yeah.
So if you had to rebuild it originally and then you would I would suggest waterproofing the chimney at the same time for the ultimate water repellent condom. And then, with your annual or biannual checks, depending on what type of fireplace you have, you're going to have that situation where if it starts to peel away on the wash, you can resurface it and, redo the waterproofing again.
Yes, you are correct.
Solve the problem.
There you go.
I mean, right now I'm just thinking of it as the crown wash is the equivalent to road work when they do asphalt versus
when they're
concrete.
patching asphalt.
Yeah, the asphalt gets replaced regularly because it breaks and falls apart. Asphalt.
No, actually it's asphalt, but
yeah.
But that sounds really horrible, so I say asphalt.
Whose asphalt is it? Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, I think obviously concrete's more expensive, so
you're patching
they
the fucking
do
problem.
asphalt. But then again, we're in the Midwest, and salt and water and shit just wreak havoc on everything.
That's our excuse for everything.
But then in the Midwest, for the masonry, we have that thaw and freezing cycle here. During the day it's about
thaw
freezing.
and freezing cycle?
Yeah.
Okay.
The defrost and the refrost.
Well,
thaw and freezing cycle?
You got it.
Can you say that for me again?
No, you only get it once a day.
It's okay.
The limit has been reached.
We'll shop it in and we'll replay it in for
Andre
you.
can't say th because he's from Russia and they don't have
the here we go. We just
sound.
lost all our listeners.
Motherland.
Actually, he was born in the USSR, so take that for what it is. Anyway.
Now we lost the other half of our listeners.
We just gained a bunch of more listeners.
There's going to be a witch hunt of communist hunters out with burning torches in the front of our home.
Well, they're not going to be looking for me.
I'm the Canadian. I must be the communist.
As long as they want their crowns
resurfaced. We're here for you, friends.
Yeah, we're here for all your crowning
rituals.
That sounds so
We need to call up the king and see if he can lend us his little sword, and then we can do whatever they do with the chimneys. You know, you put the crown on, you're like, doo, doo. When they're giving them, like, knighting them or doing.
So now I'm just thinking of their decorative crowns that they wear for the royal family and all that madness.
Yay, food!
Oh, food is here.
We sometimes eat here while we're podcasting.
Well, after, yeah.
We
do.
I mean, the thing is, back to the crowns, if you'll pay more up front for the crown, because it does, the masons will charge you more because it is more intensive work. But longevity-wise, it's better to have a crown because of the drip edge is going to last longer. If you have just a crown, you're going to have to do more preventive maintenance work because you're probably going to be running into the issue where you're going to have to tuck point it a lot earlier than you would if you had a crown. And you might be looking into that water repelling as well, which is going to cost you money. So either you want to pay it up front or down the road. But if you pay it up front, you can just have it rolled into your house mortgage, right, when you're building a house. So
yeah, I'm sure everyone wants to do that.
But then again, the owner of the house, when build it, they don't have a choice. They don't even know what's going on with the chimney. It's all about the builder. And builders say, hey, how can I make it a little bit cheaper, right?
Okay. So, all right. So, because I'm just looking at our little list here. So we've talked about repairing cracks. We've talked about resealing them. We've talked about resurfacing. So what do you actually do when you resurface? Do you just throw icing on the cake? Or like
most people do that, but like what we do, and I tell our guys to do it, if there's any like a moth or any kind of dirt on it, they need to take a wire brush to it and scrub the whole crown to prep the surface. Kind of like how you sanding the wall, right? Yeah. Before you paint it. Same thing, make sure you use a blower to blow all that little loose things off. That way when you apply the new material, which you do by just, we purchase 2-inch brushes, just cheap little brushes in Home Depot or Menards or whatever. And they just kind of like a paint. They just apply it.
What is the new material? Is it like
it's well, I don't know chemical composition. I know it's
concrete.
No, it's not. It's elastic pretty much.
Okay.
It's and it has like a fiber. I know there's little fibers in it for reinforcement.
So it's not like a tar, but it's something.
Oh, it's not like a tar at all. Tar is petroleum based.
Okay.
This is elastic based.
And is it like pre-mixed kind of stuff, or
yeah, you don't even need to stir paint. You have to stir in the can. That way you don't have to stir nothing. You literally it's ready to go.
Almost as easy as painting it.
Yes, it's thicker. It's like
that's why I said tar, because it's thicker, but obviously it's not.
It's almost
more of a,
I guess.
No. We don't tar chimneys.
I know.
Chimneys and tar do not go together, friends. If you
more
ever see tar paper
roofers
around a chimney, that means the chimney was falling apart and they played Jenga and wrapped tar paper around it.
Oh, yeah.
So would you say it's more of a plaster consistency?
No, it's actually pretty flexible.
So it's somewhere between a paint and a plaster, in between there, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand. I haven't seen
it's like very. I mean, it's like, think of it as like a rubber coating, really.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it is.
That's why I keep coming back to tar, but it's totally not tar. Because we've seen tar in places.
We've seen it a lot in places it shouldn't be. Yes.
Yeah. That's
you shouldn't be putting
anywhere on a chimney.
Yeah, you shouldn't be putting tar
great for
on
waterproofing.
Yeah, for.
Is it?
Till it cracks from the sun and then lets the water in, and then the water can't even evaporate because it just lets it stick in there.
I'm guessing the stonework, the good thing about anything stone concrete is it kind of does have some breathability to it. So you're literally just trapping stuff in if you're tarring it.
Yeah, you are. I mean, any concrete, brick, any of those materials they're porous materials, so they're going to absorb the water.
They're designed to breathe a little bit.
Well, it needs to breathe, because if you put something like tar, which will not let the water in, but once it let in, it won't let it out. The water's just gonna get stuck inside that material, brick or concrete, and then in the wintertime when it gets below freezing, the water that's inside the material is going to expand, and that's when you start getting the cracking. And it's like rust, it never sleeps, right? It's day and night, it just keeps going on and on throughout the winter until a few years down the road, it just falls apart.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
And
like
that's
fun.
literally exactly what happens. It just gives up, and it all crumbles to the ground.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's when we
Piece
get the
by
calls
piece.
of, I went out on my driveway today, and I found a piece of my
bird.
chimney.
I see pieces all around my roof.
Yeah, they're soon to be rolling off my roof.
My roofers came and said you should get your stuff looked at.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fun. So yeah, I mean, what else did we not cover about the crown, the royal crown?
Well, crown rebuilds can take a lot of work, actually, because you literally build a mold from wood. You put the mold up there. You have to use like chicken wire and rebar and all
You gotta
this
use.
stuff to stabilize
You gotta reinforce it. You gotta reinforce it. You have to have a bond break. That's between the brick or stone, whatever the chimney's made out of, and the concrete. That way, if when the temperature drops or goes up really high, the crown will not lift the brick. When it when the tiles get hot and they expand, they can't lift the crown if there's no the gap that I was talking about earlier, which most of them don't have it, and a lot of times they'll lift that brick with it.
The crown gap.
So essentially, it starts to rip off the chimney.
Well, you know how we had pictures when we look and like a second or third course down, there's literally like a half an inch gap.
Between the bricks are warped.
Because what happened is the tiles lift up the crown and then they never set back down the same spot. That's what usually happens. I mean, there might be some other reasons why it does that, but that's one of the reasons it does happen because of that tiles lifting up the crown.
Yeah, that does not sound fun at all.
No, it's not.
Yeah, don't do that. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So basically, this is a piece of your chimney that you need to have people looking at on a regular basis to make sure that when you start with that little tiny crack, that you can fill that up. And sometimes maybe have to waterproof it or resurface it, but you keep an eye on it so that you keep your maintenance on the external part of your chimney down and you keep the cost down for you over the lifetime of you owning that house.
Yes.
All right.
That's what you gotta do.
Any questions? Any recapping? Dragons in the basement.
Yeah, we can't forget the dragons in the basement. I mean, they were a key part of this. We're gonna need to crown them later.
They're just mad about those crowns that they're all cracked. That's what they're complaining about.
I don't think that's why they're mad.
That's why they're mad. That's what I think. They'll come and get you. Get your crowns fixed. Get your water under control in your chimney before it gets worse.
See, I wonder if you had dragons sweeping your chimney, if you would have to provide them with a harness because they have wings and therefore they could hover.
No, you need to get them aerial insurance. So for collisions.
Call up Todd Tartar at State Farm.
Yes, you need to get aircraft insurance and a clearance from the
The ATF? No.
Whatever.
No. That ATF is the people with the guns.
F something.
Oh yeah, ATF.
Wait,
But
the F what?
ATF.
FAA. That's
FAA,
it.
there you go. ATF people stick their noses in all kinds of business anyways.
FAA, and then we need to get the FDA involved for when the dragons start eating all this vegetation around. Yeah, that's
And the IRS, and what happens if they
logistic.
cross a border? Anyway.
I know. Where did they keep their
Drama.
passport? Like
That should have been our logo. We should have been the Chimney Dragons.
Chimney dragons.
That could be a hockey team. If you were in Canada, it would be a hockey team somewhere. There would be
Canadians
little
and their
children
hockey, they can't live
falling on
without
the
hockey.
ice playing Timbit hockey, and they would be the Chimney Dragons.
People are like, what is
Dragon.
Timbit?
Chimney dragon.
That's okay. If you don't know, you don't
I
need
know
to
what it
know.
is.
If you're not in the know, you don't know what a Timbit is.
If you
So
know,
I'm
you
not
know.
going to
It's a
tell you.
Canadian thing.
Google your
Google
shit.
your local Timbit. So on that note, and from all of us here at Chimney Bear, including the dragons in the basement, we wish you a happy and fun, dirty chimney day. Peace out.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.